As a small business owner, have you ever felt overwhelmed by the pressure of choosing the right hire or leading a team? Or have you ever found yourself tolerating a bad hire because you fear trying and failing again as you repeat the hiring process? If so, you're not alone, and you are in the right place. Welcome to the Growing Your Team podcast. The Growing Your Team podcast teaches business owners like you to expand your unique business by teaching you to master the hiring and team management process. Hiring and managing a team does not have to be a challenge. You just have to learn to do it right. And the Growing Your Team podcast teaches you how to become a confident leader who hires right every single time. Now, let's jump into the show where each episode you will learn tips on how to identify what type of help you need on your team, how to source amazing candidates, how to conduct interviews that lead you to your ideal team member, how to onboard successfully, and how to lead every person in your business so you have a team of rock stars who you are happy to pay every single paycheck. So let's jump in and teach you how to hire like a pro. Hello, Jamie Van Cuyk here, and welcome back to the Growing Your Team podcast. Here we are at the first episode of 2023, and I'm so excited to kick off this new year. What I want to talk about today on the podcast is hiring family members. And I feel like this is such a timely topic because chances are over the last few weeks, you spent time with family. And I know there's some people that are out there that say family is super stressful. You try to avoid them. You would never want to work with them. And then there's people out there that says my family is everything. I want to spend every day with them. I want to see my family. And then there's people that are in the middle. You might not see your family every day. You might not live close to them, but you care about your family up to a certain degree, and you want to help them out when possible. When it comes to hiring family members, most of the time, we hire family members because we're trying to do something good. Typically, a family member has a need, and we want to help fulfill that need. And when we're business owners, one of the ways we feel that we can help someone fulfill their need without just giving them a handout is by giving them a job. Then there are other times where we hire our family members because we really have this family business where people grow up, it's automatically expected of them to learn the trade, go into a certain industry, and that the next generation is always going to be added to the business. And there are perks about hiring family members, but then there's also a lot of potential negatives about hiring family members. So today for this episode, we're going to go into the why you should be cautious about hiring family members. I do want to sit there and say it's not always a bad thing to have family members be a part of your team. I've worked with many clients that are family businesses that have family members at all different levels of the organization, and it works really well. So it's not something that I'm going to say you should avoid at all costs, but there are some times when you really want to think if it is the right decision for you when you go to add that other team member. Okay, so let's look at a few reasons why you should avoid or really, really think about it before you hire family. The first and most important is, can you separate family relationships with business relationships? And if you can't, what dynamic is that going to make either in the office or at family gatherings? When you are the boss and then you're hiring a family member to report to you or to be somewhere below you in the organization, it can create this different dynamic than at home. There's different conversations that are appropriate. There's times where you have to maybe tell them that their job performance is not up to par. There are things that happen that kind of make it a little tough for you to be in that position if you're not in that normal, more senior position outside of the office. So for example, a parent might have a much easier time telling their child that, hey, you're not performing as expected. We need you to up your game, than it would be for you to tell your aunts that has always been that authority to you that they're just not doing things well enough. So can you have those conversations that are needed? Can there be that appropriate dynamic in the office? Or on the flip side of that, to be able to continue those relationships outside the office so that way you can still thrive as a family. If you can't, if those relationship dynamics will really throw things off, then you have to consider, is this a worthy hire? I've worked with clients that almost everybody in the entire business is family. So they've learned how to navigate some of those conflicts and everything as a family. And it really doesn't impact too much outside of the business environment. I've then worked with other clients where they treat each other the same in the office as outside the office. And while as a family member, that's okay, it creates a lot of tension with other team members. So that's something you have to look at is, how is this family dynamic going to impact other team members? And we're not necessarily talking about the nepotism here where that family member is getting raises or promotions or even getting a position because they're family, just because the fact that this person's a family member. So you might have different conversations. You're going to know each other on different levels. That person might speak to you as a boss differently than any other person would be allowed to speak to you. How is that going to impact the relationship with other employees in your organization? So those are things you need to think about. Is this relationship, this dynamic, is it worth it or is it not? Are you jumping into something that's going to cause havoc versus something that's going to be nice for your business, right? So then let's look at the other thing that happens a lot with hiring family. Sometimes we go to hire family because that family member needs something. They need a job. They need an opportunity. They need a change. They need support. And we say, hey, this is a way I can give that to this person. Well, I'm getting something in return. And there's two mistakes that I see here. One is that a position is created for this family member that business doesn't actually need. So instead of saying, hey, we have this need, let's put this person into this position, something new is created. So it could be, for example, the family member is a bookkeeper and the business doesn't quite need or can afford a bookkeeper, but they're going to hire this person as a bookkeeper just to give them some work to do. And what does that do for your business? Well, when you hire a position that you don't need, it's a cost for your business that typically is not having a positive ROI, or at least a positive financial ROI. So you're spending money and not getting a financial return. Where if your business needed that position, you should be getting a positive ROI, preferably a financial ROI, because that person is hired, because that position is added. So for example, it could be because you hire a bookkeeper, it saves you time as the business owner from doing that work yourself, which that work or that time you save can then be dedicated to either getting a new client or serving additional clients if you currently have a wait list. So you're getting more revenue in by getting that work off your plate. Or with a bookkeeper, that they're helping you realize where money is going out in your business where, it possibly shouldn't be. So that's the one mistake, is giving someone in your family a position that doesn't belong in your business. And typically this means that you're having a great overhead expense that you don't need and could put your business at financial risk. The other thing that I see is businesses have a need, they have an open position, and then they put a team member in there that is not qualified. It is not a position that they are skilled to do, and that team member, that family member, struggles. when this happens, you as the business owner think you're doing something good for that family member, but that family member is struggling, and then it also takes a lot of your time to manage that team member, to help them figure out what they need to adjust and change and everything, so that way they can be good. And maybe they'll never be good in that position because this is not an area that they're skilled at. And so it creates a lot of havoc for you. It creates a lot of stress for you, even though you're trying to do something good for a family member. So in these situations, you have to ask, is it worth it? And sometimes you're going to sit there and say, yes, it is 100% worth it to do this for my family member, but we're going to go in and recognize that this is a short-term relationship. I'm not going to keep this person on as my assistant forever, but to have them come in and do some assistant work for me while they find a new opportunity, that is something I'm willing to do. Other times you're going to look at this and say, wow, you're right. This is not a good relationship for me to get into with this family member. I need to set my boundaries and say, my business is not a charity. It doesn't mean you can't support your family member other ways, but your business is not a charity. And you need to make sure that you're getting the right help for your business and not putting your business at risk just to help a family member. And trust me, I know the pull to help family members. I love my family. I would do anything for them except tank my business. So you have to make sure that you're not doing yourself a disservice by trying to help someone else. And I have a family member working for me. She's actually the one who's edited this podcast episode. So it is okay to hire family. It is 100% worth it in some cases, but you have to make sure that what you're hiring someone to do for your business is something that they should be doing for your business, and it's something that needs to get done for your business. In addition, you have to make sure that you can manage that relationship effectively. You have to make sure that you're okay having the tough conversations. You have to make sure that you're not just going to disrupt the rest of your team because you have someone who might talk back to you in the office and you're afraid to tell that person that they can't speak to you like that. So if it's a position you need, if you think your family member has the skills and you're ready to manage those relationship dynamics in the workplace, then go ahead, hire that team member. But if not, do yourself a favor and help this team member out in other ways because it'll be better for both of you in the long run. Are you ready to hire a new team member for your business and you want to ensure you hire the person who can succeed in the role, make you happy, and positively impact your bottom line? Then set up time and let's talk, because this is exactly how I help business owners like you. When you go through my hire framework, not only will you learn how to attract candidates who have the passion you desire, but you'll be able to identify and select candidates who have the skills you need and can succeed in the role. Going through this consultant process not only helps you find the right new hire for your current open position, but it teaches you how to repeat this process with every new position you add to your company as it continues to grow. So if you're a small business owner who is ready to hire, has a rough idea of the position you need to add, and you're tired of going through the hiring process only to end up with bad fitting team members, then let's talk. Send me an email at jamie@growingyourteam.com. That's Jamie, Jamie, @growingyourteam.com, or head on over to growingyourteam.com/jumpstart and let's talk about your hiring needs.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Growing Your Team with your host, Jamie Van Cuyk. Be sure to subscribe and head on over to growingyourteam.com to connect, access the show notes, and discover more ways to hire and leverage your perfect fit team.